Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Mika Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month is Vegan Outreach, and there are several ways you can help me, help them, help the animals. First, if you can, donate to our fundraiser on Twitch. We've already raised 10 out of $10 thanks to a single donation from Wolfax2. I had to verify, scrolling down in my activity feed. But we can always exceed that goal, so if possible, please donate. But if not, just watch my streams and bring your friends because I'll be making my own donation at the end of the month based on my unique viewers count. This is my last week of streaming this month, so this stream tomorrow and Friday is it. So make sure to bring your friends. You can also find links to Vegan Outreach in the chat, in my Twitch description. If you're watching the recording of this on YouTube, there should be a link there in the description. So you can check out Vegan Outreach, learn more about them, and make a donation that way. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for more illustration work, and I am really hoping to finish this piece today because I want to send these illustrations, well, I want to send this illustration out as Patreon rewards for this month. And I'd also like to get a little bit more work done on my main colored illustration, which is so involved that I can't get it done in a single month, which is why I keep taking a break to do these black and white illustrations for my patrons. So we don't have very much left to do on it actually. So I feel really confident that in 2 hours I could finish this, and if I get it done early enough, I will show you how I turn this into Patreon rewards, at least how I turn it into postcard rewards, because I do have prints available, but no one has signed up for prints yet, so it's going to be all postcards. So, some things that I noticed looking at this after the weekend off, not looking at this for nearly a week. I want to remove some of the stars that are showing up here next to the flames because I want the flames to look even brighter by using the light logic, I guess, of the flames are so bright that you can't see the stars next to them. I also want to darken up this beach, especially when I look over here in the navigator. It's smaller. I can even make it smaller if I could grab this. Even make it smaller. This beach is still way too bright. It needs to sit farther in the back like the forested hill is doing. It is supposed to be lighter in color than the hill, but overall it's standing out too much. I'd like this to stand out. I think this area of rocks here at the bottom is good. Because it's so close to the viewer, it makes sense that we'd be able to see more details. But ultimately I want the Gaasyendietha, this water-living, fire-breathing dragon, to be the main focus. Of course, it helps that Gaasyendietha is right in the middle of the scene, but there's a little bit of competition right here. Right here. So I'm going to add a little bit there. I also wanted to add the spots to Gaasyendietha because we're using this really cute salamander as a reference for this dragon. And the salamander actually lives in the area where this dragon is supposed to live, Lake Ontario. And that salamander has spots on. So I won't be putting spots on the tail because I don't want it to get too muddied up. It's too much, but there's plenty of room here to put some on the body. Then the last thing I'll do probably is rearrange these words that I've written. The information at the bottom is in the wrong order compared to all the other pieces I've done in this series, and then this title at the top needs to come down and be centered. So, I also need to work on the water. So there's a lot to do, so maybe I won't be able to get it done, but let's just start, see how far we get, and even if we can't finish today, there's always tomorrow. So let me rearrange my workspace a little bit, the physical workspace here, moving my water bottle. And I have my yummy juice shake ready for my break time. And I needed to move those so that I could put my keyboard and mouse there, which is off to my right. And then Oh, I need my little glove for my hand so that my hand doesn't stick on the tablet. I've got one of those little drawing gloves for that purpose. I've got to put that on first because it's in a drawer. It's not now, but it was in a drawer. It's stored in a drawer. That gets blocked by my keyboard when I put my keyboard there. Okay, so drawer is closed. Now keyboard goes there. Whee! Okay, now I'm pulling down the tablet monitor. I think of someday, way in the future probably, and I've got like a whole crew helping me out with my live streams, and I won't have to describe what I'm doing to you because it will just be on the screen. And we'll have so many cameras, and producers will be telling people which camera to cut to show what I'm doing, and I won't have to explain it all. But for now, I explain it so that it's not just weird sounds happening and you're not sure what am I doing. They make all these noises. Okay. So I'm going to start by, since we're already on the stars layer, I'm just going to start with erasing some. Actually, I don't want it to be so zoomed in. So I want to see the overall effect. So I don't need this special eraser anymore. I just need this regular hard round eraser, and we'll make it smaller. Just want to erase stars that are a little too close to the flames. Give the flames some more space. Show that they're really powerful. They're blocking the light from the stars. Look too close here still. Alright, I think that's good. I'm already happy with how the stars look from last time down on the water. So next let's add some more hatching to this beach area that's in the background. Let's see if I can find my special brush that I made. Haha! Mika's ink brush! Yay! Okay, 12 might be too big, but I think it's by pressure or pressure size. So, Photoshop, I wish you wouldn't do that. Are you zoomed all the way out? No. I can't grab the top of this. If I tap this, and Photoshop again is the only one that does this. If I tap this top bar, it goes out of maximizing into a weird shape. Oh, Sketchy Doo is here. Hello! Yay! Oh, thanks for joining me just so straight off of work. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Wow, thanks for joining me. Hooray! You can see what I'm working on for my illustration project right now. So now I'm going to start adding some more. Oops, not with white though. Let's add it on a separate layer too. Extra hatching, I'll call it. Extra hatching. Boom. So I know what it is. That way, if I don't like it, when I zoom out, I can easily edit it. How'd work go, Sketchy Doo? It's crazy to think of you working in the daytime. I don't know what you do for work anymore. I don't know if you do the same stuff as you used to. Yeah, we're gonna have to make this brush smaller. Turning my tablet. I don't normally need to do this, but I have my tablet on a nice big arm so I can turn it. Times like this where I'm trying to draw a straight line but at an angle. Busy day. At least the day went by fast. That's good. Well, probably because it was busy. That's what I always found. The more busy it is, the faster it goes. For better or worse. Dang squeaky chair. I didn't dip it in WD-40 yet. I also did not spray it with more WD-40 yet. In other suspect areas. Since this hatching was originally done by hand, I'm not worrying too much about it being super straight and even. So some lines are touching each other and some are closer to one line rather than the other line, and that's fine because originally this was only a 4x6 inch drawing, so it's actually right in line with what I originally did, even though now I'm adding it digitally. I doubt you can hear it over the sound of my PC fans, but it's raining real good outside and it's so peaceful. I love it. Alright, let's look what the overall effect is. Lift my tablet monitor back up. Yeah, with music and all. Dang freaking squeaky chair. Alright. Let's see. Is this a lot darker? Is this better? I left the middle part. I could tell it was a little less done. But I left it because I didn't want it to become flat. It's tough because I need the top part to look darker. So if I make this much darker, it's going to not look like a different area. But I guess overall the effect is what I wanted. Maybe what I will add is a little bit of white to show that this is a beach. I wasn't really seeing waves in the reference image that I used of Lake Ontario for this environment, but it's a visual language that's more understood. So this is a point where telling the story is more important than being naturalistic. But we'll see what it's like, because maybe it doesn't work. But I feel like we're not as easily able to tell that this is supposed to be a beach over here. Oh, that's a bit better. Yeah, I'll leave that. I'm gonna leave that. Yay! Okay, now let's work more on the water. I think that was the next thing. Maybe this isn't going to take me as long as I thought. I did the stars, I did the beach, and even adding that little bit of wave. So I'm going to do the water and then spots and adjust the text. So maybe it won't take as long as it seemed like it would. It was a lot of explaining. Hold on. I need some water. I've only been streaming for 15 minutes and my throat is already kind of parched. Oh. Okay. I am restored. So, let's work on these lines some more. So, I guess we'll increase the white I feel like that's really, okay, we don't need 400%, that's a little too big. I think that's what we need here. I am trying to keep the water looking rough and choppy because it's not a still lake with a gentle breeze blowing upon it. This is water being disturbed by a huge cannonball of this giant dragon. So these little splotches here are meant to be uneven and wobbly. But I think they should be bigger. That's the feeling that I've got looking at this. They should just be bigger. So Sketchy, do you have any fun plans for the rest of your day? Chilling out? Or is it like back in the old days where you're working so long that you've got to basically go to bed in an hour? Man, I hated that. For me, I hated when I had to do that. It was awful. When I was working 12-hour shifts, it's like, oh, get home, take care of the bare necessities, try to go to bed because it's 8 a.m. Try to sleep when the rest of the world is awake and doesn't want you to sleep. Eating lunch, watching your stream. Oh, thank you. I want to play Marvel Rivals. Oh, that'd be fun. I've heard of that game. What is it like? I've heard of it, but I haven't played it. Thank you for making watching my stream part of your after work, I don't know, fun time. Yay, thank you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. Hooray! Something I want to remember is that the closer I get to the rocks here, or another way to say that is the farther away I get from the impact point, the more space there should be between these reflections on the water. Because due to perspective, we'll be able to see more of the water, but as it gets farther and farther away from us, we'll see less and less, so the splashes should be closer together. On top of that, closer to the splash impact, the source of the splash, there would just be more, there's more energy, so there would be more ripples in the water. So there's a couple reasons why. Like Overwatch, but with Marvel. Team-based game, 6 versus 6. Oh, interesting. Do they have stories that go along with that, or is it just mostly the same stuff and you just pick which one you want to do this time? I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, is there any story to it? Or is it just pick your favorite character and have fun with their powers? I'm also cleaning up the edges of some of these white ripples because I used that other brush before I adjusted one and made my own, and it has that rough edge, it has that grainy edge, like right here. And that doesn't look like what the ink looks like being scanned and adjusted, digitized. So I'm trying to get it to look the same as the ink that was physically applied to paper. That's what I want my digital lines to look like. I want them to match. Some story in the background. Rain's coming down pretty good over here. Oh, here's one I haven't really messed with yet. I also need to keep these little tiny lines that end up happening from being left over, because it doesn't make sense with the tools that my Maginaturalist is supposed to have for her to be able to make super extremely thin lines, because I've got her only having that one pen. So even though I'm allowing myself to use digital media, I'm trying to still stick to the story as far as what tools she has to work with for this sketchbook. Mostly objective based. Work together, capture, hold the point, get a payload to its destination. Oh, nice. Free to play. I didn't know that. I can play AI too. That's cool. Well, maybe if one day I ever finish playing Animal Crossing, all I ever want to play is Animal Crossing. And today I had a thought. I was like, oh no, there's only a couple months until, because the more information about the Switch 2 is the day after my birthday. So I'm very aware of how long it's going to be until we find out some more solid information. And today I had the thought, like, no, my Animal Crossing, I'm going to have to start over new because they're going to announce a new one. I don't know if they will, but, I mean, there are things about the Animal Crossing New Horizons that I'm like, I wish they would change this, and I wish they would change this, and I wish they would add this and take this away. So I'll be very happy, actually, with a new Animal Crossing. But I'm enjoying the current one so much that it's also still a little... makes me feel hesitant, so well, maybe one day you're done playing Animal Crossing. Plus the Suikoden remaster, which is Sketchbook, as you know, my favorite game ever of all time, is coming out next month, I think in 2 weeks. Which I'm also very aware of because I am going to set up a launch party week here on my channel. I have not told anyone about it because I haven't finalized it yet, but my idea is on my normal streaming days, they're going to be Suikoden days. And the first day, which is the day before launch day, I'm going to have a fan art stream. And anybody watching, if they are working on fan art too, Suikoden fan art, then I will share it. Well, if they want to share. If they want to share, then I'll share it on my stream. And we will all work on fan art together. Because there's a fan art contest for the Suikoden Day event, which is a fan event being put on. And that's the whole thing that got me inspired to make that first week of March into a Suikoden launch party week instead of a normal streaming week. And then day 2, Thursday, if my game arrives in time, because I don't know how shipping's going to work and I love to have the physical version of stuff. If the game arrives on time, we'll live stream Suikoden 1, and then our Friday live stream Suikoden 2. If the game doesn't arrive in time for my stream window, then we'll do more fan art, and then Suikoden 1 on Friday. So there's so much that's gonna very soon take me away from my Animal Crossing. That's what I'm getting at. Suikoden launch party week is coming next week, and I'm just gonna want to keep playing Suikoden because it's my favorite game. But it's fine. I've clocked like 2,000 hours on Animal Crossing New Horizons, so I've played it enough, even though I haven't finished everything. Which Suikoden is my fave? The first one. Yeah, they go in order for me. The first one, then the second one, then the third one. I actually haven't finished the fourth one and never start the fifth one or sixth one. Oh, but Tear Christ I've done. That one was very different. I kind of consider it a different game because it's the same idea, but it's in a completely different world with all different countries, and it's supposed to be like, this is the same, it's like in an AU basically. And that game wasn't bad, but I hated how there was no way to get Japanese voice acting on it was on the 3DS. It didn't have Japanese voice acting, so I had to listen to well, I don't want to be rude. I won't be rude to the people who put their voices to the characters in English, but, well, let's put it this way. I'm a Japanophile, and I want to hear the Japanese voice acting. Yes. We'll make it my problem. So I don't want to be mean. Sketchy Dude, you ever play Suikoden? I feel like you must have done, even if you haven't ever finished it. And if you haven't, this is a great opportunity because they've never really remastered the way they're doing here. This is new. Like, they've released it on other platforms. PlayStation 3 and beyond stuff. PSP, whatever. And I have those digital copies. But this is a true remaster. I feel like they've never really done this before, so it's just super exciting. Super exciting! Yay! You watch me play it. Yeah, it's been so long since I've played it, too. I think the last time I played Suikoden 1 was during the first year of lockdown. And I remember I streamed it on my birthday. So it won't be the first time that I've live streamed Suikoden here. Even someone who was watching clipped it. Because when I do gaming streams, which is very rarely, when I do gaming streams, I don't record them the way I do my art streams. So they disappear into the ether unless people clip them. And somebody clipped some stuff, so there's a little clips from that birthday Suikoden stream still available here on Twitch. Almost 20 years ago. I think about that quite a bit. Mostly because I'm doing better than I ever have in my life. And it's when I was younger, especially when I was a little kid, but even in my 20s, I was like, oh, 30s is so old. But this is the best time of my life. I've never been happier or healthier or just doing so well in general. So I'm glad that time has passed. Time has been good to me. And I intend to keep it that way because it's definitely thanks to past me making good choices that helped me get here. Alright, let me zoom out and make sure that these waves are kind of doing what I want them to. looks pretty good. We're getting lots of energy. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not necessarily trying to make it look very naturalistic for this splash because, for one, I don't have a reference image for a dragon cannonballing into a lake. And two, since the Maginaturalist is restricted to the tools she has, which is a never-ending ink pot and that one pen, we can't go too crazy anyway with a bunch of details or anything. Almost 40 and you're feeling time has been the opposite. That's so sad. Well, if you ever need a workout or nutrition buddy, I'm here for you. But I've learned over the years that people don't want to hear it, so that's all I'm going to say. I am here as a support if you want it. If you don't want it, I'm not going to tell you to do anything or anything. I have learned the hard way. People don't want to be told, so I'm just saying that I'm here for you if you need any workout buddy or anything. Because I want the people I care about to be healthy, so that's why I want us to all stick together for as long as possible, you know? But I also don't want to put any burden on anyone. No emotional or mental burden. Let's see what that looks like. A little extra there. Before. Oh, it's not working. My forward button is not working. How close are we in age? Thinking about this. I'm almost 42. 38. 38, baby! I'm gonna be 39 on April 1st. Yep. And then in 3 years I can have my Hitchhiker's Guide birthday. Looking forward to it! Okay, let's add some more waves connecting here. I think here's good. I got rid of that little extra wave there. I like this curve. Keep this curve. But there's a little bit too much space here, which I'm going to try to have it gradually be less and less space. Down here is good. I'm happy with how this looks now, closer to the rocks. But this little area is not connecting. Bro, how did you end up being older than me? I always feel like I'm older than everyone. Probably because I'm the big sister in my siblings group. I'm the big sister, so it always surprises me when people are older than me. Gonna be 40 in November, but that's so fun though. You're entering a new decade. How fun! You got any cool plans for your birthday? I know it's far away, so you probably don't. Or maybe not probably, I don't know. But you might not. You might not be thinking about it yet. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, it's much better. I'm gonna lessen this line here. It's a little bit too long. Oh, I don't know why I zoomed in that much, but I did. It's fine. It's fine. It's much better. The transition is much better now. I think next I want to add a little bit more to the middle of this path. We'll call it the path that the light is running on because it's supposed to be a reflection of Gaasyendietha And so at least right here, maybe not as much over here because the flames are kind of ending and getting smaller because the tail's getting smaller. But, so not on the edges, but in the middle part where it's brightest, to match this tail where it's brightest. Let's add a little bit more there. Oh, good. I do the same. Take the week of the birthday off from work. Yeah. Good. I like to hear it. Nice. That's taking care of yourself. Good job. I like to hear that. Do you do anything particular, or do you just decide at the moment? Like, this year I'm going to go camping, or this year I'm going to binge play this game or something. Wing it. What, bro? You could go camping. Yeah. How about this? You do it a road trip and go to Arizona and go camping. You can do that. Although the wildfires lasted forever this past year, so maybe you can't do it because it's too dangerous. No, I won't remind myself of sad stuff. Okay. Stop that, me. Stop thinking about sad stuff. Ooh, I'm really liking this. Yes. Maybe a little bit more like right here because I'm feeling the line that I'm trying to do. Let's just try to get a tiny bit more in. Yeah, maybe actually just one right. Whoa! One right here. We can't do it too far down because we've got to retain this line here. We'll see what this looks like once I've added that in. Yeah, my throat's all dry. I gotta get another drink of water. It's raining outside, and I'm all dry in here. Maybe if I flatten it a little bit. It's not bad. Just flatten it some. Back to black and how's this? Let's make it real small too. Now I just feel like it should be carrying on a little bit more over here, or else I should yeah, maybe I'll cut out a little bit because as you can see it follows this nice line along here, but then suddenly there's this huge amount of light reflecting right there. That doesn't really make sense since it's on the edge there. So let's just bring that back some so it's not so strong. And in fact, let's separate these a little for the same reason. Because it's on the edge where I determined that it should have less light and more light should be in the middle. So maybe I'll actually bring this in for the same reason. Okay, let's make it small and take a peek. Also, let's save. I've been doing all this work and I have not saved. 外は雨が降っているが、ここではすっかり乾いている。デニスの古いことわざ。ありがとうね。面白い。面白い。I'm some sort of guru. Actually, I was thinking like, oh wait, I'm saying something that sounds like that, water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. I don't know if that's from the rhyme of the Mariner, or if that's just, I learned it about the same time. I am still amused that you put that in there. Now I feel like speaking in Japanese. I almost said, "Do desu ka?" How are we doing? How are we doing? So we're actually gonna pull this in even more. Maybe I'll just get rid of this little bit here. This is still sticking out a little bit more. So it's on the edge and it's farther away, so it's fine if we have a little bit less reflection going on there. Alright, I'm going to make it very, very small. Also, I'm going to get up for a sec because I realize my overhead light is on. I think I didn't flip the sign on my door. Whoopsie. I didn't flip the sign on my door that says on air. Well, that's flipped, and I turned the overhead light off because it reflects, and it was reflecting here on my navigator, so it was hard to see. It's looking pretty good. I feel like right here, this little spot is a little too dark considering how close it is to this brilliant burning dragon. So let's add a little bit right here. Oh, Chappie got up. Oh, although you can't see Aoife now because turning off that light. Hold on, I'll turn on the little light on this camera. It's not very strong, but now you can see Aoife probably. And for Chappie, I'll just turn on this lamp. There. Now the puppy cams are back in action. Oh, Aoife moved, actually. I'm always trying new ways to get her in the camera. It's still not quite... There. Aoife always lays with her head at that end of the bed, which means that when I put the camera in the most obvious spot, it's just mostly looking at her butt. So I'm trying to get it to look at her face. We sort of got it in there. That's good enough. We'll get back to the illustration now. Might not need too much here. Maybe just this one little circle. Let's see. Camera shy. More like just completely oblivious. Of course, they both are. They don't know. They don't know what these little things are that I point at them and I come squat down on the floor next to them and they're like, what are you doing? They don't know. Alright, y'all. Let's look at this. What is the overall effect? I think that's good. Let's save it. For that part, but there's more I want to do on the water. Let's add a little bit more splashes. Just popping off here. Maybe some over here too. Trying to make them bigger to show that they're not stars. That one is a little bit too big now. Well, reduce the size of this one. Oops, I'm still on black. I'm going to change back to white. I really like how this one's looking. I'm not sure what to do about it though. Let's see. Let's experiment with the shape a little bit and see. That's not bad. This doesn't seem to work with those. Wow! Not that big. 12,000? What was that? 12,800%. That's way too big. 300 or 400%. That's all I need. I just won't have those little small splashes on the back side there. Here we could we could increase this and emphasize that arc shape. With the water coming off the splash. All the pixels. Yeah. Ooh, way too big. Way too big. Don't like that. The little one in between, connecting these two. No, don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Maybe what I actually want is to take this up. And we've got lots of cool shapes there. I'm not really doing that with these splashes, so maybe we can do that a little bit too. So that they're not so perfect looking. When I was looking at reference images of splashes in general, the overall effect was actually more like fire, and that it's really random and swashing here and there and all over the place, and it's only at the very ends that it's really like little droplets and stuff happening. Oops. No, I liked what I did there. No, why doesn't the forward button want to work? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. I liked this. That's what I did here. Now how? Oh, looks good. Yay! Save. Alright. The water. Maybe I'm going to connect it a little bit. 'Cause it's really... Let me see. Let me see what it looks like if I connect it like right here. It's a little too perfectly round, but I do like where it's going. How about this? There's something that looks a little too perfect about it. Maybe that helped. Alright, that's better. Save again. Definitely want to save after each point. Alright, next is adding some lovely, let's see. Hold on a sec, I got to send this reference image. I'm going to add the lovely spots. So I'm going to send this reference image to myself. Firefox on Aka Oni 3, tab sent. And then that way I can share it with you too. Here on my digital workspace, so here it is. Oh, so cute. Yay, very cute. Eastern long-tailed salamander. View image. Open image in a new tab, I guess. That's what I want to do. So this is what I'm going to be working from. But I don't have copyright for this image, nor did I get permission to show it, so I'm not going to show it any more than that. I'm going to be respectful of the person who took it. So I just wanted to share how cute these little fellows are and what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be putting the spots all the way down like I said earlier because this tail is so thin in the drawing, but I want to put some of these spots along the outside of the body for the main part here. No, not again. It's too big. That's too big. 300 is fine. Don't need the 12,800. Don't need it. Okay. I also don't want to lose these cute eyes that I've created. And it's good that I have this lovely reference image because it's not like spot, 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 spot. Some of them are more like a bunch of wiggles, actually a lot like this water here. So I'm going to try to get that effect. And let's put it on a new layer just in case, then it'll be easier to change if I don't like it. We'll call this layer spots. So I'll try not starting too close to the eye. Adding the spots also, I think, will help reinforce the idea that this body is twisting over itself. Because it'll be yet another line showing that movement. We do have little spots next to these bigger ones. So I'll show some of those. Again, I'm trying not to overwhelm it because it's a little teeny tiny space. As far as the whole drawing is concerned. In the world of this dragon, it's not teeny tiny. This dragon is massive. Seems pretty good so far. Let me zoom out. Well, Photoshop doesn't have one, but you can definitely change it so that it would do that. That's kind of how I got these stars. But for something like that, very often I switch over to Clip Studio Paint because it's way better. It's got, you could do those little manga soft floaty bubbles and stars and snowflakes and musical notes and basically anything that you can draw and make a brush out of it, and then you can do the settings so that it will apply it in a certain way. So yeah, I love that. I love using that. I think that's, let me see. Yeah, I use Clip Studio Paint for my, I was checking my process. I have sticky notes on my PC tower for my process for that series, the Animal Onomatopoeia series. I'm currently working on the bees, and I use Clip Studio Paint for that, for several steps of that. Okay, I'm fading these spots out, making them smaller and smaller and farther apart. So that maybe the idea is that spots do continue, but we just can't see them because of all the flames. Because these flames are not actually just coming out from the sides, they're coming out towards us too. We just can't really depict that effectively in this piece. Yeah, I've never tried Clip Studio Paint before. I totally recommend it. It's so good. It has all the stuff that I want. Because it has all the manga style stuff. Clip Studio Paint is the successor to Manga Studio. Okay, looking at this, I feel like these spots right here at the top of this curve should actually come down. But I wonder if it's actually better anyway. Because then it doesn't look like they're going into the mouth. Well, maybe I'll just let it be like this. And I think I could fit a little bit more black right here. We'll just make the taper effect even more prominent. Like this will be the last one there. Not in black and white. You're talking about the flames? Being able to depict the flames? I mean, maybe some genius could do it, but I'm not at that skill level, so... Oh, yep. But I'm always up in my skill level. That's a big part of the reason why I started this series, so that I could keep practicing my inking techniques and my black and white illustration techniques, because I am going to need them for my fantasy novel, my Gryphia novel. It's going to be illustrated on the interior with black and white. So, I'm leveling up. With each one of these, I am leveling up. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Oh, and the spots look so good, I think. I'm glad that I added them. I was afraid that it would be too much, and it does add a lot of visual information, but I feel like it actually makes it more interesting to look here. Before, when it was just plain white, it was kind of boring, now that I have added these. Did I save? Press save one more time just in case. So, unless I am forgetting something, I think I'm ready to just edit the text. Oh, and it's exactly break time, so that's a nice stopping point to take a little 5-minute break. And then I can take one last look before moving on to editing the text, because that's basically the last thing I need to do before turning this into Patreon awards. So I shall leave this as it is and put my Be Right Back sign up. I encourage everyone else to also take the opportunity to stretch and get a snack and a drink and give your eyes a break. Anything you need to get refreshed. I put my Be Right Back sign up, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm back. I hope you had a great break. I did, as usual. Got some nice big gulps of my yummy juice shake and took a look at the rain outside. It's really coming down hard. You can't really tell here. I'm in my half basement studio. So it's got a nice big window, but you can't really tell from the ground floor how much it's actually raining. Alright, so I wanted to, now that my eyes are nice and refreshed and looking outside instead of at a screen, I wanted to take one last look at this. I feel like this area is still a little too bright. Over here is pretty good. And it was meant to get darker and darker because it's supposed to be trailing off into the distance. But here is still pretty bright. Even when I make it this small. It's shining out more than I think it should for a nighttime scene. So let's go in there and add some more hatching, not only to the beach, but to the hill as well. Pulling down the tablet monitor. Got my stylus. Actually, maybe I won't zoom in so much. So if I keep it zoomed out, I can't control the line as finely, but I can see where is it looking really bright still and add. Getting there. And then we'll add more to the beach. Down here we've got this cross hatching going on to try to show that the sand is wet. Of course, in this dark nighttime scene, might not be able to see that anyway. But when I drew this, I was using a daytime reference image, so I just put it in there anyway, and adding to it I don't think is a problem because it just helps make this darker, which is my main goal now, is just make this whole area look darker. Okay, let's see. I did that on the spots layer. That's okay though, because hooray, look! I got the effect I wanted. The beach is not as different from this hill anymore, so maybe I can add a little bit more ink to the hill. Digital ink here. Let's put extra, go on the extra hatching there. Maybe I'll add a little bit more of these swirly marks, which I originally did to represent some deciduous trees that I was seeing on this hill. But I'll just add more all over to help create a different texture from the beach and then also help make it darker. It doesn't have to be completely covered, but I feel like that's going to be good. So take a look. Yay! Before, after. Yeah, way better. That's way better. Woo! Save. I want to save it, and now I'm looking at the scene as a whole. Maybe there's a little bit of stars I should eliminate. Right here, I think this is a little bit close to all the splashing that's going on. That's good. Save again. Now it's time to fix the letters. So I don't need my, well, at least I don't think I do. I don't need my tablet and stylus. I can go back to keyboard and mouse. So I'm just rearranging my workstation for that. The desk mat is trying to come off of my desk for some reason. No, Matt, you stay on here. There. Okay. So I'm going to open one of my previous, I'm in my Photoshop file. Photoshop folder. Career files, visual art, artwork, and 2024. So let's look at what I did here. Just need to see what order did I put these in. Okay, I don't think I need any of those. So we're just going to open this. And I want to put this in its own. Why is it not working? Put it in its own window. I love that you can do this. I figured this out by accident last year. And I'm like, what? This is the best. So I can look at them side by side. Okay, so now we need this. And we're going to move the text layers onto their own layers to start. That'll just make it way easier. Oh. So this is black and white. Well, that's okay. We'll figure it out. In fact, maybe what I will do... So I've got the lines here. What I did was turn this whole group, which has a white background, into the flat image here. But I actually want these letters to not have a background because it'll be way easier to move it. Otherwise, it creates this sort of square. Here, I'll show you. So if I do it like this and try to move this, it moves the white too. So I don't want that. In order to get around that, I think what I shall do, I'm going to double check that it's going to be alright to do. Yes, so I'll just make a copy of this lines layer, pop it up here, and then, so we can turn this group back off, and this will be words. Let's just put it on top, and to start, we'll, wait, I moved the wrong one, blast it. Group 1 copy. We'll call this base because I was confused. This one should be called words. There. Now, turn the words off, put it on the top of the list, and go to the base and just cover over these words with white so that it's not confusing. Just cleaning that up. And we can turn the words layer on, and we're going to erase everything else except the words, and it'll be easiest if we just do a big marquee. Well, this reminds me, it'd be good to do a little layer check. Put this effects layer on there. Let's see if there's any stray pixels. So no stray pixels there. How about on the base layer? Alright. Good. Turn this effect off. Everything else back on. So first let's center the title. Gaasyendietha. Ooh, is this pretty much centered? Guess it's as close as it's getting. Oh, it feels like it could come in a little bit over here. Hold on. I'm gonna move this first. Because it's... Oops. Let's actually select it. I have to use the move tool in order to move it. So we're gonna move this one over. This edge, the white here on this edge, seems bigger to me than over here, so we're just going to cut that a little bit. We'll just do image, canvas size, anchor it to the left so that it will cut off on the right, and we'll just cut off, we'll try cutting off those 6 pixels, maybe they're 2570. Yep, that's exactly what I want. Still seems a bit thicker, so let's do some more. Just a little bit. Anchor it, and we'll take it down another 5 and see what that looks like. That would be 2565. Yep, go. Okay, good. This looks more even to me. Of course, these edges are all wobbly and everything, so it's not exactly, like here is very thin, but if you look down here, this is thicker. In other words, it's close enough. So now, what we can do is make a guide at 50%. Vertical, yes. So now we can see what the halfway point is. And that makes it easier to move this Gaasyendietha. Do I have it snapping? Nope. So when you turn on snapping, then it will snap to that guide. It's quite nice. I like it. Even though I have so many problems with Photoshop, they have improved it overall so much with amazing tools like that, that I never think twice about my monthly subscription because it's just so good. Okay, so we can do the same thing with these, but it's not necessarily going to be centered to this line. More, I try to center them with each other so that there's the same amount of white space in between the 3 bits of information. These ones are a little bit in from the edge. I've done them closer to the edge before, so we have a lot of different options. But first, double clicked by accident. First, let's move. So we got to be careful about moving these, because if you set it on top of the other lines, it will become one with those lines. So for now, I'm just moving Lake Ontario there so that I can move this date into the middle-ish for now. So this is if it's actually centered with the whole image. And then we got to move night over to the other side. And we'll have it sitting in a little bit. Actually, I'm going to pull down. So this line is riding mostly on this guide now, and then that lets me see that the night is a little bit lower. So we'll see if I can grab that without grabbing any of the main drawing. We'll just tap it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if we could get it mostly even with each other, then it will just look nicer. So move Lake Ontario down the same way. And this is what I was talking about with the, we're not actually going to center this with the center line, because now it's like way too close to Lake Ontario. And there's this huge amount of space here, so we're going to even it out later. But first we shall line this up with the guide, and then also sort of eyeball this same amount of space right here. I'm going to give or take. So next, I don't feel like I'm gonna turn off snap now. I don't feel like I can grab this with the square with a rectangle marquee. I think I have to do it by hand because of this uneven edge now that's above it. So now just eyeballing the space between, and I actually want to turn this a little bit too. It's rising up. I might move the 2025 down separately as well. But for now, this space between the end of Lake Ontario and the beginning of 12 is still smaller than the space on the other side. So now, let's see. There. That looks pretty close. So now, deselect, and I just want to move 2025 by itself. Hopefully I grabbed it and didn't miss any pixels, just in case. So I'm doing this with the mouse, so it's not as the first size. There. There. Now it can rest on the same line. Deselect. Sweet. So I think we can clear these guides. I don't think we need them anymore. Now let's crop it a bit because we don't need all that extra white space. Well, original ratio. I don't want it to do anything. Oh, is it because I turned snap off? Let's turn the snap back on. Sort of. It's not really. Classic mode. Rule of thirds, yes. Why is it not? Huh? I don't want any of these. How do I delete this? I don't want any ratio. I just want it to... no! I just want it to allow me to make it whatever size I want. Okay, here we go. There we go. So I'm going to try to leave a little bit more white space, trying to have about the same amount of white space from the top edge as there is from the top edge of the image to the top of the G, as there is from the bottom of the G to the top of the drawing. And I'll give a little bit more space here at the bottom just because I've put these letters real close here. I might actually move them away a little bit. So they're really close compared to up here. Let's do that. I'm going to move the words. Oh, because the words are on a separate layer, I didn't have to worry about the drawing. I forgot though. Okay, so now we're going to move this down, all of it. Have a little bit more breathing room in between. It's like we have up top. save. Awesome. I think that this is technically done. There's still more to do though. It's time to put it into Patreon rewards. Time to save the different versions for posting on the internet. Thank you, Sketchbook. Yeah, another one done. So we don't need this one anymore. Save changes? No, I don't know what changes were made. Don't need to save it. So let's put all of these layers into a new folder. We'll call it Final. That's what I usually do. Give yourself a good high five. Done! Yay! Woo! Took me almost 3 weeks of illustration streams to get this done. But I really wanted to do a good job. The more of these I do, the more effort I've been putting into them, and they keep taking longer and longer. Alright, we're going to merge this group. I made a copy of the final. That's why it's called Final Copy. But I don't need it to be called Final Copy. This way now we just have the flat image, which makes it easy to drag into various different formats. But first, what I like to do is simply save a copy at full size, a .jpeg. You never know what you might use it for. So I just leave the title as is, except .jpeg instead of .psd. So make sure the ICC profile is checked. Looks good, and we're going to save this. Of course, at maximum quality. So next, let's add my little watermark seal, so that if anyone finds this online and they want to know who did it or want to know more about the person who made it or see more art like this, they can either just like image search this element, or they can see, Studio Mikarts, and Google that. Stroke. I think that we need it to be white. Or should it just be, maybe I do no stroke and it should just be white. Oh yeah, that's good. That's fine. Okay, sweet. Let's see, I'm gonna put it up in this top corner where there's, so that it's not like a bunch of stuff going on down here. We'll just have it in this top corner here. And that looks nice with the stars peeking through my symbol that I designed for myself. The logo that I designed for Studio Mikarts. So that looks good. And now I'm going to change the image size. For these little images, I do 1,000 pixels on the longest side for online presentation. For posting on social media and DeviantArt and stuff. And then save. Save a copy. Save another JPEG, but this one's going to be called a 4web. Then I know which one it is. So this one's just for sharing online all over the place. Save. But quickly, I want to take that image size back because I do not want to save the original Photoshop by accident at the smaller size. So we'll save it now that it's back to its big size. So we saved the full size, full resolution one. We saved the one for sharing online. So I think now it's time to put it into, let's see, open. Yes. To put it into postcard format. So products, postcards, postcard files. And we'll just use this one and save it. Save as. We don't want to save over by accident. So this is the second postcard I made this year. Instead of Fafnir, it's a different dragon. Gaasyendietha. Make sure I spelled that right. Gaasyendietha. Yes, spelled correctly. And I changed it to O2. So we'll save that. And I also double check because sometimes I'll choose the wrong thing. If you choose save a copy, It will save a copy, but the one you're working in won't be that copy. It'll be the original one. So I try to remember to look up here to make sure that I'm actually working in the new one. So let's edit the back first. Changing the title. Whoa, we might have to reduce the text because it's gonna be really long. Oh, it fits! I can't believe it fits! Whew! Maginaturalist Sketchbook, Gaasyendietha. Checking my spelling because I've used this fancy font, which I love, but it's hard to read. I have to admit it's hard to read, so it's easy to make a mistake and not notice. Okay. So the back has been updated. Save that. Now let's change the front. And this is great because the Fafnir one was also a vertical orientation, so I can tell which way I should turn it. So I'm going to drag this over here. Just need to squint harder. Yeah. What? Why is this clear? The heck? This shouldn't be clear. What? Oh. Oh. Okay. The other one's clear. The heck? Okay. I was so confused. This one is clear. Okay. Now we're going to change this up. Control T to transform. Pull this and make it smaller. And then hold down Shift and rotate it. Shift to make sure it rotates at specific degrees instead of just kind of more, what's the term? Analog? Kind of analog, although technically it's digital because everything is digital because it's a computer and it's ones and zeros, but clearly it is. Oh my. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing those sunglasses over there. Alright, front's done. So we end up with this bigger border on the edge because I have this white border. Well, you can't see me turn it on and off, but I have this white border to make sure that I have to print. Right now, I only have enough patrons to make printing individual postcards myself worthwhile. I used to get printing done by a third-party printer, but everywhere has just skyrocketed in price, and I was losing more money just making the postcards than I was getting through the contributions on Patreon. So I have to have this border here because my printer, although it can do full-size prints, when there's stuff like text or anything kind of important on the edges, it doesn't work as well as you might hope. And it also doesn't help that this is just 4x6. It's much better. My printer is much better at full-size printing, edge-to-edge printing, when the format is bigger, when it's like a 9x12. So that's why I have this white border, so I have to make the drawing even smaller than it was originally, even though I drew it at 4x6, which is the whole size of this. But if anyone signed up for the print tiers, then they would get the full size 4x6, so they'd get this extra, I don't know how much this is. But it's actually quite a bit. It's bigger, it's more than you expect because it's squared. It's not like 1 inch, it's like 1 square inch or something. Anyway, that's good. Let's save it. We still have so much time. We still have 20 minutes. I guess I could just start printing. I can't really show you the printing, but you could hear it. I could tell you how it works. I've gotta make space though. Wow, my room is still so messy. maybe during my week break next week. Next week I'm taking a break from live streaming. So perhaps I will work on tidying my room so I don't have to keep moving stuff off of my printer and off of my scanner and off of all my stuff because it's all sat out in piles instead of put away properly. Alright. I can sort of show you what I use. In the puppy can. Red River paper, Aurora Art Natural 300 for the postcards. And then I also use this 47-pound premium mat for the messages to my writer subscribers who get 3 blank postcards and a separate message. Alright, first I am going to check Patreon for how many postcards do I need to print. So I'm going to go to, is it under audience? Ah, it is. So you go to benefits and then you go to, so single postcards I need to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I have 3 blank postcards, so that's 8 plus 6, so that's 14. It's the same number of people in the party at the beginning of The Hobbit. They needed Bilbo to make 14 to be lucky. Alrighty. I've got my paper out, and what I like to do is swipe it off before I start printing to get any dust off, because this nice thick art printing paper also tends to be a little dusty, and the manufacturer actually suggests trying to eliminate that dust from the paper just to ensure the most quality print. So we want 14 copies. So the front's going to be the same for every single one of these. And then I go into print settings, make sure everything looks good. Okay, so paper source, I want to be the rear paper feeds. Oh yeah, and we are on the right printer. My Epson XP970 is my art printer. And this is definitely the wrong size. We need 4 by 6 inches. Orientation portrait. Might need to change that. Let me see. Yeah, we do need to change that. Orientation should be landscape. Thought so. The paper type, what does this paper recommend? It recommends ultra premium presentation paper matte or hot press natural, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually have either of those, but I use premium presentation. It doesn't have the ultra, but it has premium presentation paper matte. I just leave it in color, even though it's black and white is fine. Copies, that's correct. More options. So color correction should be custom because we're going to have it do color correction via Photoshop. So we'll click OK. And then we've got Photoshop manages colors, and we're on Epson XP970 matte, so that's correct. I'm not sure what this black point compensation actually does. It says adjust for difference in black points when converting colors. If checked, the full range of the source space is mapped, so that's the destination space. Useful if your document printer have the same size gamut, but one has a darker black than the other. Either way, I just leave this checked because it looks nicer. It always looks nicer when I have this checked. So those are the things that I mess with. Everything else I just leave it centered. I don't scale it. So that's good. We're going to print 14 of these now. Yes, that's fine. See this warning? The image is larger than a paper's printable area. Some clipping will occur. No problem, because we've got this white border here. That's what that's for. Proceed. So I can't show you this part, but what I have to do is load each postcard in one at a time because this paper is very thick. So you can't put in a big pile of it. It can't grab it. It can't grab it well. It often will grab more than one sheet and then it will say jammed. So that's why I have to do one at a time. Also, I have to do one at a time anyway because this paper is so thick it can't curve around. Woo, printer's being loud. It can't curve around the way a regular sheet of printer paper can. So we need to feed it from the back one at a time anyway, just because of that. Come on, printer, wake up. You got this. I have to wait for it to finish warming up. Ooh, so loud. You ready? No? I'll swipe my next piece of paper off until you're ready. Come on, dude, so close. It doesn't normally take this long. Ready yet? No. I'm swiping my paper off. It's going to be completely dust-free by the time it's finally ready to print. What is this? Survive. I can't tell what that is, but it's probably accurate. It's still charging. I don't know what it's doing. It doesn't normally take this long. I know. It's embarrassed. It's embarrassed because it's on camera. I can't believe it's still not ready. It's making a really high-pitched sound now. Well, it's doing something. Unbelievable. It seriously does not usually take this long. It usually takes like maybe 10 seconds doing this stuff that it's doing now. Oh, finally! Oh, preparing to print from the rear paper slot. Ah, finally! Alright, so I can tell you what I do next with the paper. You have to wait until it tells you it's ready. So you heard that little beep, I think. That means that it recognizes there's a paper in there and I can click the installed button, meaning the paper is installed. Alright, it's pulling it in. Yay! 1 of 14, here we go. And since I have to print these one at a time, I usually swipe the paper while I'm waiting. Swipe the next sheets of paper to get the dust off. Is this printer on fire? Oh, I can't believe it took so long. Especially what inopportune timing for it to need to do whatever it was doing. And when I run out of sheets of paper to swipe dust off of, I often just I have music going usually when I'm doing this. So I'll just dance. Get my dance on. I used to sit and wait for each one, and then I'd turn around in my chair because my printer's behind me. Turn around for each one. I realized, you know what? It's probably better for me if I stand because I've been sitting this whole time. Let's stand and dance and move. Okay, number 3, I think. Here we go. How many sheets have I swiped so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 3 in there, so that's 7. So this is 8. Nine, 10, 11. All right, loading number 12 into the printer. Okay, so that's 12, 13, and 14. So there's just 2 sheets left in this box of paper for next month. I have got more, but just another reason to tidy up my studio because I have one more box, and then after that I purchased more, but it's still packed up in the box it came in. Next one. So I give you a little preview of how it's looking in the Chappy Cam. I don't know how well it will show up, but here's how they're looking so far. It's always different seeing it printed too. Oh, thank you. Yay, I'm glad you think it looks nice. Especially on that teeny tiny Chappy Cam. I don't know how well that shows up. Woo! I don't know why my printer sometimes goes crazy. Like it's possessed. I got this printer. So 4, 5. So this is number 6 printing now. All right, dance party. You can't see it, but it's happening. Actually, I think I'll have some of my yummy juice shake. It's got juice, soy milk, greens powder, chia seeds. Oh, next one's ready. Yay! It's sweet and creamy and delicious and full of nutrients. Mmm. All right, that helped take up 30 seconds. Time to get back to the dance party. Okay, next one. I think we're halfway done. So someday in the future, when I have more like 50 postcards going out every month, that's when I'll be able to go back to a professional printer. Because it was more like 50 batches of 50 or 100 postcards. That's when the prices become reasonable. But if you're only ordering 10 or 15 postcards, they charge you so much. So one day, I hope to not have to print each postcard one by one. But for now, even though it takes a lot of time, this is actually the most economical method. I'll be amused if the next Maginaturalist sketchbook piece is also a dragon. So this is the second dragon in a row. I'm not going to peek though. We'll find out together. Guess you're probably hearing the printing sounds. Just imagine me dancing to it, because it's happening. Very much I'm hearing it. Okay. It's not very interesting on the screen. So I guess you can see what the Epson is doing here with this little pop-up window. This is only step 1 of 4 for the actual printing process. Whoa, yikes! I don't think I'll get to show you the rest though, because we're almost at time for the live stream. The rest is not as interesting anyway. Basically, I print the backs on the individual postcards that get stamps on them and sent as is. I write a message in Photoshop. So it's a handwritten message, but it's on Photoshop. I used to handwrite a message on each individual postcard, but now that I've grown a little bit as a Patreon page, it was killing my hand to write that many messages. It doesn't sound like much, but when you actually sit down to do it, the hand cramps are real and you're writing the same message over and over. So now I just write the message once and print it out on the back. And then for my writer tier members who get the 3 blank postcards, they're blank on the back so they can send them if they want, or collect them, or whatever they want to do. I print that same message, but on that other type of paper that I showed you, that premium matte paper. One more! Guess I should save this. I don't think I did. Save. There. Hooray! Come on, take the paper, please. This printer doesn't do well with the small paper. It can technically print it, but it needs a lot of help. It can't pull it in on its own. I have to lift up this support in the back to help sort of push it in. And then of course it doesn't do that well with edge-to-edge printing on such a small paper either. Other than that though, it's kind of like Photoshop, where it's got a couple annoying things that it can't do, or weird things that it does do, like the printer taking forever to get going just now. But on the other hand, it is overall so wonderful. It does such a great job. The prints always come out looking excellent. I don't have issues like I did with previous printers. For instance, with weird lines just being in the middle of the print, or the colors being off, even though it's like a brand new ink cartridge and I've checked all the color settings in Photoshop and everything. none of that kind of issue. So on the whole, this printer is wonderful. The Epson XP970. Yes, XP970. Oh, we've only got a few minutes, so let's just call it good here. Because it is pretty boring. I mean, it's already pretty boring. But I figured it was fill the time with printing the front part. All we're going to print is the back for the next step. So I'll just do that off stream. Oh, cool. Yeah, let's go raid Satuita. Satuita is my first sister. My younger sister, the first of my siblings. Let's go raid Satuita. Cool, I didn't know that she was streaming. That's cool. I'm very happy about that because I told her that she should start streaming. I told her that last week and she did it. I'm so happy. Taking credit for her stream. No, let's go see what Satuita is up to. Yay! Let me open a new Twitch tab. The reason being, it lets me actually see whether the raid worked. If I raid from the creator dashboard, it doesn't show me that. So I'm going to raid from here. So /raid Satuita. And before I hit enter on this, let me thank you for joining me today and let you know that I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. I'll be working on my onomatopoeia bees. Yay! So make a little bit of progress on that. I hope to see you then, but even if not, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's go raid! Alright, the raid worked. So if you're still here on my channel now, or if you're watching the recording, as I said, that's it for me. I will be back tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Thank you for watching.